Welcome to the Ford F-150 versus Baby Ultimate Comfort Test. I'm deadening on it good enough to actually, well, keep a baby asleep when you're in traffic. And is it comfortable enough when you're going over bumps to keep a baby asleep? So the Ford F-150 versus Baby. So far, we're going through traffic. We've had some big trucks go by, and let's check out Baby in the back. Still sleeping. We're now going over some bumps. Pretty rough road here. It's been repaved several times, so full of cracks and bumps. We'll go over bigger bumps later because these roads are just awful. But this is the ultimate comfort test for any truck, is whether it'll keep your baby asleep. So far, so good. Join us right before we get officially started. Subscribe, hit that like button to not miss out on any of our videos. Some are very serious, some are kind of, well, a bit of on the joking side, but I actually think this is truly the ultimate comfort test for a truck. Can it keep your family so comfortable that even a baby can sleep through it all? So let's put the pedal to the metal and get started right now. Turning out to be the perfect comfort test, and we're going to be talking about not just the Ford F-150 Tremor that we're currently driving, but of course also your standard F-150, whether you're getting a Ford F-150 XL, XLT, or my budget favorite. I think the STX is an incredible value, but I also think the Lariat 501, if you want to go full out luxury, is incredible value if you're willing to live with just a little bit less tech. And the Tremor 401 is where it is at for value. Now let's talk about the Tremor 401 for comfort. We've got the perfect test here. The baby is very happy in the back. The dogs aren't scared because of the truck getting shaken around. The Tremor isn't just your off-road truck. The off-road suspension is actually great at taking on whether it's really bad, poorly paved, old, crummy city roads or those back roads. Yesterday we went to Canada Day. The day before we went to the Canada Day fair way out in the countryside, and we did a lot of back roads, some washboard dirt roads, and the Tremor was just fantastic at taking it. Layla slept there. She's sleeping right now. And let's talk about the left-right balance of the truck when you go through curbs. The Tremor is great at taking that, and actually all F-150s are rather solid. Now, a regular F-150, whether it's a Lariat, a Platinum, a King Ranch, an XL, STX, when you're going through a curb quite quickly, there's going to be pretty much no body roll, but you won't absorb a bump quite as well as the Tremor. Same thing with, we've owned a Ford F-150 Raptor before, so here's the big difference. An F-150 Raptor is fantastic at taking on those bumps. It's the most comfortable truck, I believe, that you can buy on the market with F-150 Tremor. The F-150 Raptor. Now the Tremor, what I like to call the Baby Raptor, is fantastic also at taking on the bumps. Not quite as much left-right roll in corners. So when it comes to left-right roll, you've got the least in your standard F-150s, your non-off-road versions. A little tiny difference with the FX4 package, but the Tremor, you definitely see a big difference. It is better at taking on the bumps, and it has a little bit, just a tiny bit of left-right roll. This road, if you want to look at it here, is pretty bad. So we're going over very bumpy road. This is actually a better part of the section. Some potholes, all cracked up, and we're very comfortable. And Layla is sleeping right through in the back. Just went through the corner there. We're gonna go through some serious bendies and check out the left-right roll. Now, it's not all perfection. One thing that you can count as comfort is auditory comfort, and while the vehicle is really good when it comes to sound deadening, very thick doors. Look at the thickness of all the Ford F-150 doors, and they are thick, and you've got recycled blue jeans. But it's not just because we're on this very bumpy road. The suspension's very comfortable, but the tires we're starting to get a little noisy now. I'm currently at 8,200 kilometers, but I've used this truck and been rough on the tires. It'd be about the equivalent of about 20,000 kilometers, because we've already lost about 30% of the tire wear. I've been very rough in the bendies and with the accelerator pedal. We do hear the tires now, and if you don't listen to the radio, you are going to hear them, but maybe in the back, still not so loud that, you know, some four-season or, you know, three-peak snowflake rated tires. So these are LT three-peak snowflake rated tires. Some of them that you get are just some off-road tires with big knobs. In general, you cannot have a baby sleeping in the back. They'd be so noisy that you have to have the radio on very loud just to drown it out. And here it's just a bit of a noise once you take it up to about 90 kilometers or about 60 miles per hour. So you'll have to take my word for it, but the baby is fast asleep in the back. But 70 kilometers, not really hearing the tires very much. Going through town at low speeds, about 35 miles per hour, we can also hear the tires if the radio's off. So not a major fault, nothing that would make it so that I wouldn't buy a Tremor again. I'm pretty sure I am going to buy a Tremor again. But if the most silent tires possible, something that interests you, don't get the Tremor, go with one of the other Ford models. And the same thing for the Ford F-150 Raptor. Those are knobby tires, and you get a little less comfort, more practicality. You can drive these tires year-round on pretty much every and all surface conditions, all surfaces and all surface conditions, and not have issues. But, you know, everything has its pros and cons. And there you go, the con when it comes to this particular model, the Ford F-150 Tremor as well as the Ford F-150 Raptor. You've got the con of the tires not being noisy at first when you buy the truck new and do your your test drive, but later on, once you put mileage, it's hit me at 8,200 kilometers. But like I said, I've used the tires about 2 to 3 times more than people normally would because of my drive style. Very, very comfortable truck. We're about to get on real smooth pavement, but some very drastic turns. So a windy, mountainous road here. Still on pavement though. We did all the gravel yesterday. Came through here really quickly with the Porsche 911, and the Porsche 911 did have less body roll than this truck, but it certainly had a bit of trouble with those bumps back there. So fantastic mountainous road and body roll. Actually very little. How did you find that, Marie?
Oh, that's great. It's comfortable. For sure we feel the road a little, but it's still comfortable. It's not that bad.
And when we accelerate, the suspension isn't so soft and mushy that the front end dips up. And when we brake, we'll do a little brake test. We hear barely any nose dip down during the brake test. So this accelerates, it brakes with barely any body roll. So I find the Tremor, if you're looking for ultimate comfort in a truck to do some really nasty roads like we've got here, the Tremor is the right truck for you. If you want even more off-road capability, go with the Raptor, but that does come at a price premium. And 911 did not like this road very much. It got by, didn't bottom out. No damage done. Certainly not the extreme, the very, very good comfort we're getting out of the Tremor. The Raptor is more comfortable, but you do compromise when it comes to more body roll. Now I love the fact that, you know, the Raptor, who's really going to be able to afford or find the Raptor R with the 5.2 liter flat plane crank supercharged engine. Good luck finding a Raptor R. So likely you're going to be getting a Raptor, and really it's the engine, it's the same engine as this, just tuned a little differently. And tons of acceleration out of the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. So that's a 3.5 liter V6 with 2 turbos. Really takes off. It's a fun engine. I think whatever F-150 you're thinking of getting, do keep in mind that your non-off-road versions are going to be just a little bit less body roll, a little bit stiffer on the bumps. The Tremor is going to absorb those bumps a little better. All very comfortable, but if you want the extreme comfort, go with the Raptor and pay the big price, or have a little drop down in price and grab the Ford F-150 Tremor. Now do keep in mind the Ford F-150 Tremor only comes with, well, a 5.5 foot box. So same thing for the STX. The STX model, great bargain value, but it only comes with a 5.5 foot box. So if you want a 6.5 foot box, some great options could be an XLT 302 with black appearance package. You get those 20-inch black wheels that just look fantastic, or you can go with a Lariat 501 if you want full leather. Now the entry-level Tremor comes with seats that are, well, some would say half leather, half cloth. I believe that's most likely recycled plastic. It's probably Activix, but either way, the seats are very comfortable. We could definitely, well, Marie, would you be comfortable driving all the way down to Florida, a straight trip down?
Yes, for sure. That one, no problem.
The only vehicle we've had that's been, more, I think, more comfortable, and I want your opinion on this, I think the Ford Bronco Wild Track with the Haas 3.0 suspension, which was almost at the level of a Raptor suspension, and the Bronco Raptor are the only vehicles that would be more comfortable than this, and with their incredible turning radius, which is even better than our Mustang, or the Mustangs we've owned. I'd say that's the only vehicle that was better at taking the bumps. Do you find the Bronco was more comfortable, or would you give the...
Yes, I think because the seats are more, how can I say that? It's...
bolstered. It really holds you in place a little bit
it holds you. This one, maybe for somebody who has a bigger size, will prefer the F-150. But for me, when we go in the corner, I prefer the seat of the Bronco because I'm more stuck there.
But would you rate this as very comfortable?
It's really comfortable, yeah.
Fantastic.
So it depends on what you want, because on the Bronco, what I love is that you feel more the road, but you still are comfortable. The F-150, it's a different kind of comfort, I could say. The feeling is not the same. It's like being on the couch. So maybe going down to Florida, yeah, it will be comfortable, but I'm afraid I will be sleepy a little bit more.
You could call it, this is more like high luxury comfort, and the Bronco's more that off-road comfort, where the big huge tires and excessive off-road suspension just absorb everything, but at the same time you still feel the road, you still hear the road with those big tires.
The F-150 is big and smooth. So
well, I like the F-150s right now because of the promotions on them, with the 0% potential 0% interest on a purchase, or very low interest rates when it comes to leasing, and really great residuals when it comes to leasing a Ford F-150 truck. That's a big part of why we have this. And also we have one of the safest baby seats you can buy, but boy does it ever take a lot of space, because it tries to flatten out the baby's seat as much as possible, so that way if you have an accident, less likely to have the baby's head move and flip forward, because the baby's almost on a flat. So if you want to show that one last time, these Diano seats are fantastic. And yes, Layla is still sleeping despite the acceleration, despite going through the bendies pretty quickly, and all those bumps and almost jumps that we took.
Yeah, and it passed the test with the dogs too. They are quiet back there.
Yeah, no dogs that are, they're not, you know, having a little piddle because they're scared. They're not little piddle poodles. And actually in the Bronco, there's more body roll, to the point where, remember we were going down to Florida and Lily threw up in the back of the Bronco, because through the mountain roads there was more body roll. So I'd say the Ford F-150 takes the crown when it comes to a beautiful mixture of comfort over the bumps, but also very little body roll through the bendies. Yeah,
for people who has a dog that is sick in the car, maybe an F-150 could solve the problem.
Well,
maybe.
I think that's fantastic advice. And on that bombshell, I'm going to say, folks, I wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal on a car that you love sometime real soon. We're gonna go park this before the storm hits. Thank you so much for watching, and be incredibly helpful if you could hit that like button, subscribe, turn bell notifications on, and share this video with a friend, and catch one of our next videos. That'd be extremely helpful. Thank you so much. Truly blessed to have you watch the video. And to everyone who's still watching, Godspeed. Have a great week.